Now I do want to shoot off sideways a little bit and go all the way back to the basic scripting principles and the types of variables, be it this is a global variable, it's something that works all the way through the script, but public and private. Let's see if we can do something to that variable first. Just like we grab a transform and we'll say, okay, we have our transform component, and then we want to access the position variable. Okay, position is a variable of the transform component there. So what variables do we have on our player health component? Well, we have a health variable. So let's see if we can modify that immediately, just to see if we can get this working. So we have a reference to our component. So again, just like this example here. So the component dot, then the variable, which is health. Now let's just make it equal to 1. Now let's make it, it's going to drop from 100, but we want to see a bigger difference than that. So let's just call it 42. It's definitely not 100. We're going to see a difference. So to recap, we've grabbed the component player health, which is a script, and then we're talking to the variable. Let's have a look at that. Let it compile out. And because it's happening at start, let's watch the player. So I hit play, watch that health. And there we go. Just like accessing the transform position, or just like accessing the rigid body velocity variable, we've just accessed the health variable on our player health component. That is awesome. Alright, now the side shoot that I was going to do about public and private. This is where it could break for you. See, when we don't put anything here, in JavaScript, if we just declare a variable, this is assumed as public. So even if I wrote public variable here, that means exactly the same thing in JavaScript. Now it's different for C#, but I'm not confusing the issue. Okay, so currently we said public variable. Let's even save that and prove a point. So yes, it is public. It's seen in the inspector. And like I said all the way back, it can be seen by scripts. It can be seen by other objects that access that component. So I hit play. Nothing's changed there. Right. Now, what if that was private? Let's save that. We couldn't even hit the play button. It's already told us there's something wrong with that. It hasn't disappeared. It didn't even like it when it was trying to compile it. Player health dot health, the health variable on the player script, is inaccessible due to its protection level. What's its protection level? Well, that was just what we changed, wasn't it? It's public private. Public, it's like, yeah, here I am, free for all. Private, leave me alone. So it's protection level. So there we go. That's just demonstrated that perfectly. So let's work on with developing this. So we have our health. Awesome. Let that compile out again. And that makes Unity very happy. So let's actually, alright, that's enough theory. We've done all that kind of stuff. We're grabbing all these things by ourselves. Let's start looking at what we can do from the MPC. So that was just an example of the health modification, but everything else we absolutely need, and that was just an example too. That's got nothing to do with anything. Okay, so I'm going to save it there. Example on accessing a variable on a script component. I should be doing a lot more commenting, shouldn't I? Okay, so there we go. We fixed up the script. Now, let's go back to the real functionality. Where are we modifying? Where do we want to modify the player health from the enemy's perspective? Now, we did even leave a comment in here. So in our slender decisions, we're checking if we're visible. So that's when it's happening. If we're visible, we're checking our range, and then we're checking our line of sight. Okay? And right here, we have the target. Okay? So we set him to idle because we believe that the NPC is looking at the player. And right here, I've written decrease the health of the player. Now we can start to pop this in. So remember, we have a variable where we stored our script, player health script, and we're accessing the health variable. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take away from the player script health variable. What are we going to take away? Let's just say time delta time. So over 1 second, it's going to take 1 off the health. So we can see it nice and slow, or we can see it happening. So let's just take away time dot delta time. So let's see if we are decreasing the health if we look at the NPC. Here we go. Where is he coming from? I think he's going to come from over that hill. Where am I walking here? I think he's going to come from that way. Now, hang on a minute. I'm just going to pause it. I'm going to highlight on the player because we're watching that health variable. Okay. Now I'm back into the action. And this is the playtesting part where I should bring him close like the papers too. He should come over that hill. It'll stop if we can see him. Where are you, fella? Alright, I wanted to get the scene view going as well. Hey! Okay, so even as I saw him and looked away instinctively, look at the player health on the health script. I know it's, there we go, we've got the model right there, so I can just make it happen. Alright, we're going to look at him. And just like I said, it's taking 1 unit off a second. And that's what it's all about. But that is awesome. That really is awesome. Look how far we've come. And you can also do this for yourself because I've explained it out. Okay, let's start expanding on the functionality. We've done heaps and heaps of theory. Let's just start making this happen. Alright, so in this instance, well, in this example, we're modifying the health variable directly. Now let's show another way that we can do that. Let's create a new function on this script. I'm going to call it decrease health. Now what are we going to do in decrease health? The health variable's on us now. So let's just say health minus equals, and like before, let's just keep it slow, delta time. So now we have a function on the player health script that can do that for us. So just like here, we're telling our component and we're using the variable of the component. Let's look at another way we can do that. Let's call the function on the player health script. So we have a reference, a player health script, dot. Now this time, let's call the function instead. Decrease health. And we're calling a function like normally. So we still have the parentheses and the semicolon. But it's just a dot of the player health script. Save that out. Now let's check that Unity's happy with that. Okay, because it is a public function. We haven't called it private. Now let's bring the enemy in. Right, the suspense is fun, but we're play testing at the moment. Or we're more testing even than play testing. Where are you in the world? Still too far away. Okay, just ground there somewhere. There we go. He's a rigid body, he'll drop down. Okay, so we've got him nice and close. Now again, I'm going to highlight the player script, and we're watching the health. I hit play, and he's going to be somewhere around here. Yeah, if I turn 360 degrees, he's going to be, okay, he's right over there. Oh, he's even closer now. And there we have it. We have exactly the same functionality, but when you look at it behind the scenes, we've done that a completely different way. Instead of modifying the health variable directly, we're actually calling a function on the other script. Okay? That is absolutely awesome. It really is. Okay, let's start really making this work like it used to work. Health health decay rate. So how fast is our health going to go down? And this will be a type float, and it will equal. How are we going to do this? We want to go from 100 to 0. Okay, we can work that out in calculations. Okay, so let's just say 5 seconds. We want it to go from 100 to 0 in 5 seconds. So what can we do in the decrease health function to make that happen? So that's the old way. Okay. So we want the rate. Okay, we have the rate, but we want to know our modifier. What are we going to decrease our health by each time? So we're going to say, let's just call it variable decay modifier. This will be a type float, and this is going to equal 100 divided by 5. Now this will give us the value which we change health by, so it does go down. Okay, that's math. Let's not get into that. Okay, so now we can say health minus equals our decay modifier times time dot delta time. Okay, so all that calculation is doing is trying to work out, okay, what do I need to increase time by so that 100 goes to 0 in 5 seconds? Let's see if that works. Stop pausing and editing. Okay, that's compiled. We have our health decay rate. We've made a few changes, so let's just save the scene. It's turned into a bit of a prototype, but we can fix it up. So now we're watching how fast the health decays at. How fast does it go down? Now, if I've done my calculations correctly, it should go down in 5 seconds. Now I can see he's right behind me. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. It's happened. We've gone into the minuses. So let's immediately do something about that. So it's all happening here in the decreased health. Now here we can go. If our health has now fallen below, so it's less than or equal to 0. Okay, so we've gone down to nothing. And we can't do much else at the moment, so we're just going to debug log player is out of health. That's a pretty clear indication of what's going on there. Now, this would be just like when we collect 8 papers, that would be our win condition. This is our lose condition. We've got no health left. So this is our lose condition. And what we're going to do in our lose condition, load game over scene. So that's exactly where it would pop in there. Even in the final thing, this is building the script again. This isn't testing. So let's check that out one more time. So we're going to decay, so in 5 seconds our health drops to nothing. Let's see it happen. See running up behind me. Okay, turning around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bang. Player is out of health. There we go. It's all starting to come together. I keep saying that, but gosh, this is how I felt when I very first started programming. You put something in and you watch it happen, and you think, wow. First I did that, and then secondly, look what we can do. We can make this do amazing things. Alright. Okay, so I better pause it there, or stop it there and see what the next part's going to be. Thanks for watching.